All right, guys. Trying to think. So, my name's Shade, and we are going to be talking about the differences of demonology, demonolatry, um, all of these. Excuse me. I keep forgetting I have notifications on my phone. Um, the the kind of things to look for in like demonology research. Um, Cases of possession, things like that, and the difference to see whether or not it's um, ghost related or an actual demon, which honestly 90% of the time is going to be ghost or haunted, not necessarily demon, because most of the time they just don't really give a shit. So first things first, demonology and demonolatry. All right. There is a very, very big difference. One is the study of demons and how they work. Sorry, my dog is nuzzling all of her shit. Um, and she's just fucking adorable right now. Um, Biggest difference is demonology is the study of demons versus demonolatry is the worship of. Um, there are going to be some, not necessarily similarities, but different different styles of um how should I put this? Everybody's going to work different versus whether it's in the Catholic Church or Christian, Baptist, whatever, versus pagan, or neither. So really, if you don't know your shit, then you're gonna screw yourself either way. Um, Biggest thing I could probably say is if you actually want to learn demonology, one, you don't actually have to practice witchcraft to be a demonologist. You don't even have to be Catholic, um, because it's just knowledge based. People like let's actually know your shit. Like educate yourself, please. Um, and the biggest thing that gets me is you'll have people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that will tell you that they know everything on demonology, magic, um, Catholicism, whatever. The moment those words come out of your mouth, I lose all respect for you, your mind, and the fact that you already proved what kind of mindset you already have. Um, the the thing with demonology and just demons in general, the Catholic faith isn't the only thing that has demons. Yes, they are the only ones, really only ones, that really define negative energy as demon or demonic. Every religion, every culture, every faith based thing is always going to have some type of negative energy, whether it's um, uh, uh, Asmodeus for the demon of lust, or um, uh, uh, Kitsune in Japanese. Um, each culture is going to define some kind of creature demonic, malevolent, negative, opposing force, any of that shit that always comes with the negative side of things, like the darker side of shit. Like how, and this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but fuck it, who cares? Fairies. Fairies are the biggest thing that everybody always misconstrues of they are the lightest of light creatures, blah blah blah. Yeah. Gruagach, or changelings. They aren't the funnest things to deal with, y'all. Like it's not. Yes, they can be good, but when it comes down to it, fairies take your child. They take your goddamn newborn, okay, and replace it with their own. Do you actually think that your child, the one that came out of your womb, is actually still alive and not being used for food? Really? Like it just really? Just no. Um so the main thing I want to talk about for anybody just tuning in is the differences between a lot of different cultures, versus also what I practice a little bit, and just a lot of debunking certain stereotypes. Like, my biggest thing is anytime, because I live in New Orleans, every time I go to the French Quarter and people see me either wearing a pentagram or things like that, they automatically think Satanism, which kind of, but it's also the pentagram or pentacle itself is a symbol of balance. And I don't know why I didn't grab one earlier, but oh, actually, also this is one of my Bibles. I call it my big book of shit. It's called the Complete Book of Correspondences. It's got everything related to everything, at least as far as European magic goes. So, y'all can see it. Yeah. So the pentagram itself is a symbol of balance, earth, air, fire, water, spirit. But when it's inverted, that's when it becomes satanic. The biggest thing, I mean, it's shush you. So yeah, the biggest thing is the pentagram isn't always satanic unless it's meant to be satanic. Um, just like how exorcists don't actually have to be through the Catholic Church. Now, if you are part of the Catholic Church and you do have something that is trying to possess you, there's an infestation, something like that, and you actually do go through your church or your parish, that's when it gets difficult. The Catholic Church actually has to go through the Vatican itself to approve any exorcism. And so, all right, so the goddess Canela, also one of my favorite people, she is. We're not going to get into that right now, ma'am. But inverted in Wicca means they practice through the earth without deity involved. That is actually something that I personally did not know, or if I did, it's in the back of my mind. But as far as having the inverted pentacle or pentagram, generally speaking, that's what's used in Satanism. That's what's used to define Satanism. But yes, in Wicca, if you are a practicing witch, then the pentacle is going to mean a few different things for you. Where was I going with this? Oh, sorry. Catholic Church. If you are part of the Catholic Church, then it's going to be a little bit difficult for you. However, you don't actually have to be part of the Catholic Church to be a modern demonologist and a modern exorcist. Because, for the simple fact of demons in any shape or form and name are going to be spread throughout history, cultures, religions, beliefs, whatever. So there are going to be multiple different ways to get rid of them. A few main things to repel them are actually sage. Well, sage to cleanse the space, but Solomon's seal is a very good one. If it's specifically demonic, and keep this in mind, if it is specifically demonic, and you know for 100% that it is an actual demon, whether it's a lesser demon or a greater demon, and I'll get to the two differences in a minute. Camphor, whether it's camphor oil or camphor blocks that look like that, that is going to be something that is going to repel the fuck out of demons. Like, carry camphor around you, and it's like Betty White slapping the piss out of you and laughing while she does it. Like, it's gonna be funny as shit watching them run, but it's also kind of like, where in the shit did that come from? You know, with Solomon Seal, that's usually something that that I personally use, just for the simple fact of a lot of the demons that I talk about and read about are through the Key of Solomon. Which brings me to the lesser and greater demons. Lesser demons are a dime a dozen. Like, there's house demons, water spirits, air princes and gods and demons and all. But those specifically are going to be... Betty White can slap me in a day. Be honored. Facts. Betty White will outlive us all. I'm 100% all for Betty White, and I'm gonna just say this real quick. She is probably the only person alive or dead that will probably look coronavirus in the face and tell it to fuck off. Fuck all the way off. But what about frankincense and myrrh, since they are gifts to Jesus and considered holy? So frankincense and myrrh was used way before Catholicism came around, way before Christ came around. And since they are considered holy, yes, they can be used. Myrrh, for the most part, actually is used, at least in my practice, to summon the dead, or at least call to them, make space for them. Frankincense is a good cleanser. I'll use that as probably a base in mixing incenses. But that's not necessarily something that is going to be used a lot. Excuse me. If you're gonna use frankincense, I would say use it as a base, but mix a few different herbs and oils into into that blend to do that. If you're in a pinch, honestly, iron, salt, and let's go with the third one. Iron salt and licorice root. All right. Main reason why I say licorice root is because it actually helps with compulsion spells, not necessarily for people. Let's get that down pat. You can compel somebody to do something, but that also has to do with a lot with free will, which, let's be honest, if you are an actually practicing witch, that has something to do with a very big moral compass issue. Let's get that out of the way. But as far as demons and demonic energy goes, hell yeah, use all the licorice root. Big facts. Licorice root is also used in summoning Anubis's armies. And how relative when ridding demons? It's not that it rids demons. It's the way I use it is mainly using it for the compulsion part. Now whether or not Anubis wants to be my dude and help me out, that's going to be on him. That's going to be on him. Let's do. Okay. So there's a few different requests. I have one that is asking how to mix oils and mix incenses and things. That I'm actually going to be covering later in a very specific video. I'll kind of touch on it just as a general general topic right now. The main thing that you're actually going to use if you're going to be making your own oil is I use virgin olive oil as a base. You can, depending on the oils, you can do sweet almond, you can do olive oil, virgin olive oil, or coconut oil. They're all mainly because they're all going to spread on your skin differently and hold differently. But I use olive oil just because that's the easiest thing I can always find. And let's be honest, it's usually the cheapest. I'm all for saving money. But there's also the thing where if it's there, then spend the money and actually get the good shit. Instead of saying, fuck it, this is the only thing I can afford right now. If you can't afford like certain carrier oil. Okay, I think I'm back. Okay, well, that was weird. That's the first time my internet actually went out for a second. Yay! Story of my damn life. If you can't actually get the carrier oil, which is virgin olive oil or coconut oil, things like that, then honestly, save your money. Don't get it right now. You can always get it later. Okay, it's not like it's going out of stock anytime soon. So if you're in a pinch, honestly, you can always find somewhere to actually make it, because it's just oils, really. That's it. Next, let's do sigil making. All right, let's touch on that, because I feel like that's also something that a lot of people are not necessarily going to think of right off the bat. There are going to be certain demonic seals for specific demons, like greater demons. And thank you, ADHD. I just remembered that I didn't even touch on that. I just briefly touched on lesser demons. Great. So lesser demons are... Pay attention to the sigil since you like them. I'm getting to that. So just real quick, and it's actually going to be relevant. Lesser demons aren't necessarily going to have sigils to banish them or bind them away. Greater demons, they actually do have certain certain sigils to not necessarily banish them and summon them, but they're associated with certain demons. You can always make your own. All right, you can always make your own. And Sayazaki, I'm talking to you because you're an artist. You can make your own. All right, artists are probably going to be the best people to actually look to, because there's so many different ways to make different sigils, to make different warding anythings. To get you started, honestly, get on this book, Sigil Witchery. It'll show you a few different designs on how to create your own pentacle, how to create just a regular star, hearts, anything that can be used in either protection symbols and sigils, or protection, banishing. You can even use them in love spells or attraction spells, glamour spells. There's so many different ways that you can make sigils to help anything. And this is where it ties into demonology. Those are the best ways as far as you go. You can actually make that happen. Because making it yourself is always 100% going to be better than anything that's already pre-done by somebody else. Because it's going to have your energy, it's going to have your intention, your mindset. It's going to have a part of you in that sigil, or in that oil, or in this, or in that. So, how earlier when I said spend the little extra money to get the oil, get up off your lazy ass and actually do shit yourself. All right, it's not that difficult. And it's also, y'all didn't see that. I'm fine. It's fine. The biggest thing that I could ever say is do the research first and then worry about what's going to happen later. All right. It's if you second guess yourself, or if there's that little thing in the back of your head that makes you doubt that I don't think this is an actual demon, it could just be a haunting, get the fuck out, collect your shit, like get your shit somewhere, okay? Get everything together, just put it in a bag, and then just put it somewhere. I'm fine. Y'all. But there's always going to be some difficulties. And touching on just doing some paranormal investigation things, you always have to have the right mindset. Like, real talk, if you don't have your shit together, like mentally, if you're not mentally stable or emotionally stable, you are going to get fucked 20 different ways to Sunday. All right, it's going to open yourself up to a fuck ton of shit that you, let's be honest, will not actually be able to handle on your damn own. So, always have help. Always have somebody with you. Because if shit goes south, then you'll have help dealing with it. It's all of those Exorcist movies, all of those demon movies that you see, just one priest come in and everything goes fuck up. Everything can go fuck up. Period. No matter who you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how powerful you think you are. It's always best to have a team. Now, whether it's a team of people with the same beliefs as you, or just the sheer courage that they are like, okay, yes, let's do this, let's tackle this shit together. Because if you go down, we go down with you. So we're gonna help each other out. Like it takes time. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take practice. But it's also knowing where to actually get your information. Because let's be honest, there's a fuck ton of information out there, but there's also a lot of misinformation out there. Thank you, TikTok. Christ, I hate TikTok. I really do. Yes, I know there's some information that's good on TikTok. There's always going to be the very few that are actually practitioners and do actually know shit. But there are a lot more people who think just because, oh, hey, I have a piece of, I mean, this is lodestone, but, oh, I have a piece of amethyst, I'm a real witch. I will give you the deadest of looks and make all of your words just go in one ear and out the other, never touching land. No. Because at that point, you're just trying to appropriate. You're trying to make everybody think you know what's going on when you're just. It pisses me off every time. Every damn time. So, I don't really have a lot more to cover in this video. I'm going to touch on just a couple of more things. I'm probably going to keep it to around like maybe a 30-minute mark at for these videos. If I do have more things, then I'll go further into it. The biggest thing as far as research goes, definitely any Key of Solomon book that you find, make sure it has the Greater Key of Solomon, the Lesser Key of Solomon, because the Greater Key is going to have why is my brain blacking out now? One key is going to be strictly for demons, all the 72 demons, what they do. Why is Solomon relevant? The main reason Solomon is relevant is because he is the one that did the research to find out what demon did what seal was made to either summon them, bind them, expel them, what have you. So Solomon is going to be a very, very, very big big, lack of a better word, and excuse the pun, a very big key. Because when it comes to demons, he is pretty much the OG. The he's the guy to go to. Um, so, and it's whenever um whenever the Catholic Church usually talks about demons or demonic entities, it's usually Satan, Beelzebub, Lucifer. There's they usually just revolve around maybe one or two. But there's 72 demons with a whole hell of a bunch of armies under them. And in later videos, I am actually going to talk about the, lack of a better word, hierarchies. And because hell has different different dimensions, different realms, so a few demons are actually going to rule certain dimensions of hell. For just a quick thing, Asmodeus and Lilith, the demon prince of lust and the queen succubus, mother of all demons. Okay, she is also a demon of lust. They reside in Edom. Or at least last time I read. I'll check on that before I actually do the next video. But they reside in Edom, so they have their own sections. It's very, sometimes this is actually very hard to talk about, not necessarily because there's too much shit in my head to where it's okay, here's a list of all these different things to do to banish a demon, and then it's, hang on, why are we talking about this? Let's talk about this thing. But with Edom, it's, think of it like a kind of bastardized version of Eden. It's kind of barren. It's a wasteland. A lot of witches don't believe heaven or hell exist because they are deemed Abrahamic religions. This is why a lot of Wiccan or pagans don't. This is why. Okay. So with this one, a lot of witches don't believe heaven or hell exists because it's deemed Abrahamic religions. It doesn't have to actually be believed in. The biggest thing to remember is Catholicism and Christianity aren't the only ones that actually have demons. And the Key of Solomon is only relevant to essentially just to the Catholic Church side. Whether it's Asmodeus or Belial or Pazuzu, or Stolas, there are a lot of demonic entities that are strictly to the Catholic Church. Now, that doesn't also mean that if you're a practicing witch and your tradition revolves in Egyptian magic, all right, if you're practicing an Egyptian tradition and you have your own belief not belief your own recipe for banishings. A lot of TV shows and movies are going to have you believe that if it is a Catholic demon, your shit will not work. Get that out of your head. All right. Just because it's a Catholic demon, that doesn't necessarily mean that your if you're a witch, it doesn't mean that your spell won't work. It might need a little bit of tweaking, but it will work. You just have to make it work. Mainly because that's where the modern demonology and modern exorcisms come in. All right. You don't actually have to be a part of the Catholic Church to be an exorcist. Now, if you want to be a Catholically ordained exorcist, then yes, you're going to be required. But exorcism is at its core banishing and expelling negative entities that wish you harm. So exorcise them. Exorcise them. There's always going to be certain cultures that think of a creature or an entity as malevolent, harmful, malicious, negative. They're always, every religion, every belief, every culture is always going to have something that they deem that way. Whether they call it an actual demon right out or not is not relevant. How to get rid of them will be. So the main thing to really keep around as far as negative entities and demons and everything else, a lot of repellents are going to repeat themselves. Silver is usually one of the main ones. Also, iron. All right, iron usually is for spirits, to keep them out or to banish them or just to repel them. That's why here in New Orleans, a lot, if not all, of these cemeteries are going to have iron gates. It's not necessarily to keep evil spirits out or malicious spirits out, but it's also to keep them trapped in so that they can't go anywhere and fuck up everybody else's shit. Salt is good. You can, me personally, I like to use black salt and regular salt. Black salt mainly to see if something tried to get in, and salt to make sure that it doesn't get in. You can use rosemary, thyme, bay, basil. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of patchouli in with the mix, but that's usually if I can get it. Because usually I'll prefer the oil versus the actual herb itself. Otherwise, there's a lot of leeway. But just do the research. I would probably consider carrying some kind of journal. Preferably something like this, something about this size. You can go a little bit thicker, but honestly, this is just what I use because I don't really keep a lot with me. But make it into a bestiary. All right, whatever creature you can think of, do the research, and whatever is consistent in everything that you read, put it in there. So it's going to be like, okay, so this is the only thing that is consistently associated with this creature or this entity or this demon or whatever. And then use that in whatever you encounter, so that you can narrow it down better. Because if you try and use the Solomon seal for, okay, let's say that you're trying to do a banishing on the Furfur demon or Furcifer, demon of thunder, lightning, tempests, whatever. Pretty much it controls electricity, so it can really fuck your shit up. Thank you, 21st century. But it's not Furfur or Furcifer. And using the wrong sigil can go one of two ways, or one of a few ways. It can either just straight up not work, or it can make everything a lot worse. So just doing the research in general will definitely help. As far as putting a team together, honestly, that's probably going to be where you will find the most difficulty. Mainly because everybody's going to believe different things. I would say have at least one, maybe two actual skeptics with you at all times, just for the simple fact of it's not always a haunting or demonic. It can actually be, oh, hey, it's just an old house. Shit happens, especially down here. So just do the research. Really, like that is going to be my. All right. So, I'm probably going to wrap this up real quick. Because this damn computer is losing connection. So I have to figure out exactly what's going on. But that's going to be my main topic throughout each video is do the research. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. If you do not do the research, you are going to screw yourself over. Like it's basically saying, here's a knife. Here, I'll actually put it right over my heart. Here, how you? All right, it's you're essentially going to sign your death certificate. You can't just think that if you just read one book, you're going to become an expert. Sorry. Like it nothing works that way. All right, it's when I say that there are going to be tests, it's not paper tests. Like, you are actually going to test yourself in life. If this is something that really does interest you, and you actually do want to make a career out of this, then actually do the research. Okay, have the books, do the work, talk to people, actually get experiences out of this. There's too many books in this world. There's too much knowledge in this world for you to be a lazy fuck and just sit on your ass and think that you can just slide through, and people not call you out on it. Because if you're anything like me, then make the effort. Because people like me will, one, call you out whilst laughing in your face. Because nobody has time for that shit. Like, actually do the work, actually say, hey, guess what? I actually know better than you. It's not because I'm young and I'm cocky and arrogant. It's because I actually know better than you. Like, I actually know more than you. Like, it's, you know, you can be 40, 50, 65 years old and still not know a goddamn thing. You must be a Leo with these qualities. You know, it's not necessarily just because I'm a Leo. It's because facts. Like, if you don't do the research, then if you come across somebody who does know better than you, you're just gonna walk yourself into a wall. It's just there are things in life that you're not gonna get taught through school. Like, nobody's gonna hold your hand through life saying, "Hey, guess what? This thing right here, yeah, this is what's a demon. So we don't deal with that. So here's somebody else who can tell you and show you and be there with you." No, actually do the goddamn work. Hey Ahmad, that's one of my guys. I'm doing good, but I'm actually about to finish up the video. But as far as making this a life for yourself, honestly, it is very much not something that you choose. It's something that just happens because of either the shit that you're around or sheer fact of everybody asking you things. Any kind of TV show or movie, actually, hell, Supernatural. The main reason why Sam and Dean got into demon hunting and monster hunting is because their mom got killed by one. And their dad was like, fuck this, I'm finding out what the fuck is going on. And then, A, B, C, D happened. But I'm not saying that happened to me, because it didn't. But there's always something that's going to happen that will always push you to be like, let me actually see what's out there. And as far as what's out there, asking you things like what? Asking me things such as, is my house haunted because of a ghost, or is there an actual demon trying to possess my family, or just things like that. But it's mainly doing the research, and this is probably where I'm gonna end the video. But good news is, next Wednesday's video will actually be specifically on sigils, the Key of Solomon, banishings, that kind of thing. And then I'll constantly be debunking some myths, One last one also is you don't, if I've already said it, you don't actually have to be a practicing witch to be a demonologist. It helps because, more information, more knowledge, but you don't actually have to practice witchcraft or even be Catholic, religious to be a demonologist. You don't have to practice anything to read. It's more of a, you know, picking up a goddamn book. Um, but also, one last thing, I promise, one last thing. Demonology is not Satanism. Demonology is not Satanism. I can't tell you how many times I actually have to explain that in a single day, um, let alone just throughout life. Um, anybody anybody walking down the street can be a Satanist, but on the flip side of that, anybody walking down the street could be a demonologist. All right, you don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to act a certain way. You don't have to believe certain things. You don't have to anything to read a book. Um, which books do I recommend? Probably anything that says Key of Solomon. Um, whether it's from I think his name's Skinner, Sinner, something, Shimmer, something like that. Pretty much anything that says Key of Solomon. There's also a book called Demons and Demonology by um, 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 damn. My eyes are really bad. And no, it's not because I'm in the dark. It's just because I'm blind. But it's called Demons and Demonology. All right, it's pretty much like an encyclopedia of anything relating to demons, demonic entities, demonology, exorcisms, whatever. It'll have everything, and then some. Whether it's a movie, TV show, made up character, whatever. Um, it'll have a lot. Um, as far as bestiaries go, actually, this is actually my favorite one. This one, because this actually has more, um, not necessarily more demons, but more focus. So it's not just Catholic demons going on. It's demons that you're going to be more focused, not focused, more um, lack of a better word, focused, in forests or deserts or mountains, things like that. There's even demons that revolve around your psyche. Thank you, Freud. There's it even touches on some creatures that are deemed demonic but actually aren't. Just for the simple fact of how they look, how they act, or just where they are. Um, One of them is the god Pan. Um, Normally, anybody who doesn't practice magic or witchcraft um, will see a picture of Pan and think he's either a Satan or just a random um, satyr goat dude, um, just because of the horns. I mean, it's there's a lot of creatures that people think are demonic but or malevolent that actually aren't. Um, so that's probably going to be my top 3 book suggestions. Key of Solomon, the Encyclopedia of Demons and Demonology, and the Field Guide to Demons, Fairies, Fallen Angels, and other subservient spirits. All right. All of that you can find on Amazon. You can find most of it on Llewellyn Publishing, Llewellyn Book Publishing. Visit witchcraft shops, visit occult shops, look at their book selections. There's all kinds of ways that you can do the research. You just have to do the research. And I'm always open for suggestions. You can always post comments on my videos about what you want to look for, what you want me to talk about, things like that. But actually, I'm almost at an hour, so I have just a couple more things. But you can always message me, and we'll take it from there. You can go on my Instagram page. It's going to be my same name on here, Shade Warlock 25. You can message me there saying, you want to talk about more book selections, or what might be a better way to do this, something like that. So I'm always open for suggestions. And also, my biggest thing too is, if you have any information that I either might be wrong on, or just something to add, please comment, message, whatever. And I'll do the research, and I'll be more educated. I'm not going to be one of those people where it's like, oh, well, if you say I'm wrong, then, fuck yourself. No. It's there's very few things that I'm actually going to say that you're dead wrong on, and it'll be known. Let me put it that way. It will be known. Yes. So Lilith and her sisters, the individual demons and what they do, those are I'll probably touch on them next week. I will definitely be talking about them on the 30th at, I want to say, 7:30 Central Time, on my Instagram with the goddess Canela, because she and I will be doing kind of like a mashup video. So she'll be doing the light part of magic. I'll be doing the darker shit. Because let's be honest, the darker stuff's more fun. But there's also a lot more to do with darker magic than a lot of people are going to think. But yes, Lilith, her sisters, Aztec, Mayan, Incan, Hindu, even Japanese, Asia in general, everything is going to be talked about at some point in the series. It's just next week is going to be specifically sigils and symbols, things like that. And also making some incenses too. Not necessarily incenses, but just recipes. I'll have a whole setup next week. I actually got a display thing from my job that can actually help me visually see exactly what the fuck is going on. So yeah, that's about it for this video. If you have any questions, again, feel free to message me on something, whether it's here, if you have me on Instagram, whatever, or if you even have my number. But like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll always be posting about when I'm going to be doing the video, just as a reminder, and um what each week's video is going to be about. So if you have any questions, or if you have any topics, please feel free, hit me up. And the only time that I'll probably say that I won't be talking about that is if I personally don't think it's relevant. But I'll probably touch on it just in case some people do actually have questions on it. Like if I get one person just asking, "Hey, can you talk about this?" I'm like, it's maybe, but if I have multiple people, then yes, I am going to cover it, even though I might not know much, but I'll do the research anyway. Because I have a very big problem with books, as you can see, my bookshelf, and that's only one of them. But enjoy the rest of y'all's night, day, whatever time you're watching this video, and I'll see you next week. And what can I say? Toss a coin to your Witcher. Bye, guys.